Hello, hello, hello. This is Akia Garnett, your host for the Akia Garnett Show, and your host for Tuesday Branding with Akia Garnett. Join us every single Tuesday where we bring to you a full day of programming, all for small business owners and entrepreneurs. This day of programming includes the Akia Garnett Show. It also includes Kick Fanny's Big Thinking with Akia Garnett. You can listen direct to that show at kickfanny.com. And you can also check us out on Twitter for our weekly show, My Brand Chat and I Brand Chat. They start at 8 p.m. on Tuesday night. You can find out all about these programs and so much more that we've got going on for Tuesday Branding at akiagarnett.com. Now, today we're going to be having a special conversation I brought back with me on the air for you to hear and respond to with action. The Minister Counselor for Press and Public Affairs, Gabriel Williams. He works for the Liberian Embassy and is stationed in Washington, D.C. We're going to be spending time updating you on some of the efforts that have taken place. We've also got a statement that was made by Her Excellency Ellen Sirleaf, who's the President of the Republic of Liberia, and she was speaking at a very high-level event on the impact of Ebola crisis to the World Bank and the IMF this past October 9th, 2014. We're going to share some of the excerpts from that speech and give you an update in terms of what's taking place now and how you can respond with action. Hello there, Gabriel. Welcome back to the Akia Garnett Show.
Thank you very much, Akia, for having me on. I am delighted to be with you.
Awesome. I'm sure that there's just a lot of stress and tension and anxiety right now at the embassy with hopes that this virus will be contained and dealt with so we can get back to business.
I am telling you, words are inadequate to express, the level of anxiety, not just at the embassy, but among Liberian families across the globe regarding, this pandemic that is, seriously threatening our very existence as a people.
Yeah, and now when Her Excellency Ellen Sirleaf spoke to the World Bank and IMF, who exactly was she addressing in that audience?
Well, President Sirleaf was addressing the what they call the high-level meeting organized by the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund, IMF, to discuss the impact of the Ebola crisis in West Africa. As you know, the IMF and the World Bank are the two leading global global financial institutions, and their resources, being able to harness the necessary resources, will be critical in how the international community responds in helping Liberia and the West African sub-region at large in containing this pandemic.
Yeah, and who were some of the other folks who were in the room? Some of the other people, I would imagine there were people from the European Union, people from the African Union, who all was there and who could hear what she had to say and also take action from an international, global level. Well,
at the conference, of course, the president spoke by video link. President of Sierra Leone also spoke by video link. But at the conference, in the conference room here in Washington, D.C., was the president of Guinea, a neighboring country also affected by the Ebola disease. In addition to delegates from the various worst affected African countries and representatives of other international organizations, Mr. Thomas Frieden, the head of CDC, along with many other international players, to be able to look at this disease and whatever resources can be garnered as a way of being able to concert international effort to eradicate the disease.
One of the statements, one of the excerpts from her speech, which I want to pull out is, and I quote, our development agenda was interrupted by the Ebola outbreak, which started in March and returned with intensity in June, spread into the capital city where 1/3 of the population reside. Can you just give us an update on those numbers? Because I do have some numbers here, but if these numbers have changed or escalated since this speech was given, we'd love to know that.
Well, Akia, you first mentioned about development agenda. Mm-hmm. What is that development agenda the president was talking about? Mm-hmm. Let me just give you a listener a context very quickly. Liberia, after years of civil strife, we have enjoyed sustainable peace over the past 10 years. And Liberia made history in the world by electing the first female president in all of Africa. Since her administration came into place in 2006, Liberia have recorded record growth in terms of, the reconstruction process, in terms of attracting international investment. Up to this year, you had more than $17 billion in direct investment, foreign direct investment in Liberia, in the mining sector, agriculture sector, in the forestry, and many other areas. Of course, oil is a new exploration. You have American oil companies like ExxonMobil and Chevron, all in Liberia, involved in the economic prospects. You're talking about reconstruction. You're talking about the rebuilding of the entire infrastructure of the country, from schools to hospitals to roads. You have it. Now, we've achieved sustainable progress. Liberia, as a result of the reform that have been undertaken, Liberia is recorded to be one of the fastest growing economies in all of Africa. So, that is an indication of the progress that was being made. But the thing is, as the president indicated, the Ebola virus now threatens all of those gains that the country have made over the past 10 years of sustainable peace.
Yeah, and it's really sad to hear when I'm looking at this update, the latest numbers that I see, and according to the president's statement, the political subdivisions, over 2,199 people have died, including 92 healthcare workers, and further 6,689 Liberian citizens have been traced as contacts. And of course, this has affected Guinea and Sierra Leone, as well as it has had an impact on air travel and sea travel. I mean, it's just impacting the economy at unforeseen levels. How are these numbers and the work that's being done on the ground there going out to more people so that they understand the precautions that they need to take in order to keep themselves virus-free?
Well, Akia, that during the early, stage of this virus, or early this year, there were reports of, the resistance from the general public with respect to whether or not Ebola is real. Now, there is no question that there is a general awareness among the population, not just in Liberia, but in various parts of Africa, especially the worst affected places, that Ebola is real, and hence the need for all of us to take the necessary precaution. As the saying goes, self-preservation is the first law of nature. So we made some progress because people are now more cautious, given the reality that this disease, is no joke. Mm-hmm. It is here, and we can only contain it by working together. And of course, this might be, playing catch-up because the disease is far ahead of all of the effort that have been made. Nevertheless, we are grateful for the international effort, the surge, especially from the United States. The United States government, President Obama, and the effort being led by the United States to carry up to 4,000 soldiers to Liberia to help in accelerating the process of combating this disease. Mm. So we are very grateful for all of the initiatives that are being made across the world, to be able to deal with this disease. Whatever resources, whatever is being put together.
Yeah.
Liberian people, the people in Africa are just very grateful.
And, you know, the President, Her Excellency, made 3 appeals. The first one is more appropriate, I think, for the United States and for the average citizen who is interested in jumping in and finding out how they can send supplies or anything to be of assistance as this virus is being combated. And I'm going to read this statement, another statement, excerpt from her actual speech. She said, "First, we must contain the disease in a more timely and decisive response. This means the construction of treatment and testing and burying centers with a time frame of 1 month. By mid-November, all such facilities functioning with staffed health workers, both local and expatriate. We need more resources for establishment of community care centers with ownership and participation by communities themselves." Now, I know that we're still collecting on this end supplies for the center that you have in Baltimore, in which you're sending supplies to Liberia. I understand now that you've set it up for people to be able to directly drop off things in Washington, D.C. at the embassy if they can make an appointment. I also have that list of supplies. Is it possible that you can give people just a bit of instructions on how they can make an appointment so that they can drop off whatever supplies they have and are willing to donate?
Yes, precisely. I wouldn't really call it an appointment here. I would just say, you know, people who have, you know, supplies and they just want to, you know, drop it off at the embassy. All you need to do is to call us. You know, the embassy opens from 9:30 to 5 o'clock, you know, Monday to Friday, you know, so that, you know, we know you're coming and then we can receive your supplies. If you're in the Baltimore area or in Philadelphia, in New York, you do not necessarily have to come to the office, for example, because we have a storage facility in Baltimore, and all we do is once you call us and tell us what your availability will be, and we arrange that, we have someone in Baltimore who will have the storage facility open for you to drop things off. And let me just, you know, go through a number of things that, you know, people might, somebody, you know, or might just want to say, in my own way, how can I help? We need hand sanitizers and Clorox wipes, Clorox tablets. We need, there are a lot of specification of things like what they call a duck-billed mask, and we need hood with eye opening and surgical masks attached. We need surgical gloves. We need high-risk gloves. We need exam gloves. We need goggles. We need rubber gloves, the one that reaches all the way to the elbow. We need surgical and disposable caps. We need scrubs. We need blood pressure cups, thermometer, and we need isolation gowns. We need underpads, you know, for beds, and, you know, syringes, needles, and those kinds of things, you know, basic things that people can get, you know, say they want to donate it. What we do is collect these things, package them, and send them off to Liberia. We talked about, you know, community health centers. These are things that will be very, very useful in those various community health centers across the country that are being opened and capacitated to be able to cope not just with this disease, but, you know, other health challenges that we are facing now in that country because of the lack of capacity.
And she had 2 other high-level statements, requests that she was making, appeals that she was making while speaking to the World Bank and IMF. One was to strengthen the regular healthcare system as a whole, and the third was to mitigate the economic consequences of the Ebola crisis, which has caused a shifting of resources from ongoing operations under the agenda for transformation. Now that agenda for transformation is a lot like what you were talking about earlier, correct?
Yes, it is. It is the general framework for national development. It's our national development program, And the agenda for transformation, the goal was that, and it is under the Millennium Development Goal, the MDG, supported by the United Nations and the United States government. Under the MDG, Liberia's agenda for transformation, we were working towards making our country a fully middle-income country by 2030. A very ambitious goal for a country just coming from war. Well, this is the goal we have set for ourselves, that our country will be a fully classified middle-income country by 2030. And all of the development interventions in the construction of infrastructure, roads, schools, hospitals, capacity, human capacity, energy, every sector of modern development. Those were the sectors that were that we were working towards, and then everything now has come to a halt because of this Ebola.
Wow. There you have it, folks. President Sirleaf, President of the Republic of Liberia, has made an appeal to the IMF and the World Bank on October 9th. We've read a few of the statements from her speech. I'm spending time with Gabriel Williams, who is the Minister Counselor for Press and Public Affairs for the Liberian Embassy in Washington, D.C. He has given you a list of supplies that can be dropped off directly in D.C. at the embassy. You just need to call. He also mentioned the warehouse, which is in Baltimore. You can call so that there's someone there to receive you and your supplies. And also, did you say that there is a center or a drop-off location in Philadelphia and New York?
No, I was just basically saying for people coming on that side, and you don't have to come all the way if you wanted to drop your stuff off, or if for example, any of these courier services were to bring it, they don't have to bring it all the way to the embassy. For example, if you were coming from New York or Philadelphia, in that case, we just arrange where you bring it, to the warehouse near the port of Baltimore,
Great.
And then we arrange and take delivery of it. We have that arrangement has been in place, and people have been doing that.
And I understand that the president now is down in Atlanta. How have things changed or escalated around the embassy, considering all of the various things that you're dealing with, the family crisis here, the citizens that are here who are concerned about their family members and friends and loved ones back home in Liberia? How has that changed things around the embassy in terms of your workload?
Well, it has magnified, our work. But the worst situation is, the emotional toll, the emotional roller coaster that you go through from day to day, as a result of this disease. When you hear all of the reports and you see pictures of, the human suffering, the human tragedy that is unfolding, and then, that sense of helplessness, because if I had the means, I could just snap my finger and it will all go away. Mm-hmm. But you sit and see how, your whole country is being ravished, especially a country that have gone through so much. Our people are a resilient people, and they didn't invite this on themselves. While we were there trying to rebuild, this disease came from nowhere, and it's just, taking so much toll on us. Almost just attempting to wipe us away. Mm-hmm. But I am very hopeful that, we shall prevail.
And how has the embassy responded to the Dallas situation and the family that is grieving right now over their lost one?
Yes, it's, the situation in Dallas, again, is a reflection of the human tragedy, that this disease represents. Mm-hmm. And words are inadequate to express the anguish this situation has brought about. Mm-hmm. It's been a very difficult situation for, the affected family. The ambassador has made contacts with some members of the family. I have also personally spoken with the president of the Liberian Association in Dallas, because it's a close-knit community, and they're trying to hold together and trying to support the bereaved family under such very difficult circumstances.
Yeah. Well, I am going to say this on air. Rest in peace, Thomas Eric Duncan, who has perished in the States as a result of Ebola. I hope that we can really get some closure on this entire virus. It just cannot continue to take lives the way that it has. There is more that we can do. I thank you very much for rejoining me for a follow-up on the Akia Garnett show, for listing the supplies, for giving us an update on the work that the ambassador and the president are doing. And I hope to touch bases with you again. We can do another update and get the word out so that we can put this thing to rest.
I can't thank you enough because I consider you also as a foot soldier. In the battle to contain this disease in your own way, getting the message out and the level of awareness being created. We consider you a foot soldier, one of those already in the front line trying to deal with this, contain this disease. And with our collective effort, your effort and the support of the American people out there, that the people of Liberia and Africa appreciate so much during this very difficult time, we have no doubt that, Ebola will be kicked out of Liberia, Ebola will be kicked out of Africa.
Yes, I echo. I thank you very much. I'm doing my part, and I hope that others listening will do just one small thing. Pick up a box of gloves, gowns, pick up a box of masks, whatever you can afford. Find out how you can drop it off at the embassy. Help. It will go a very long way. This, as Gabriel said, is no joke. This is very serious, and if we can stop it now, we can get back to business as usual. I thank you very much again for your time, Gabriel, and I thank the Embassy of Liberia in Washington, D.C. for granting us this special interview and update on the Ebola crisis.
Thank you very much, Akia. Have a good day.
Teaching strategies that you need, empowering you to succeed. She has a plan to help build your brand. Oh yeah, if you wanna go far, she'll take you from where you are. She's here to motivate, here to recreate.
Join us on Tuesdays. Tuesday branding with Akia Garnett. It's a great, great day. Tuesday is the most productive day of the work week, and that is why we do Tuesday branding on that day. It's a full day of programming just for you in business. Whether or not you're in small business, you're a mid-sized or a large firm, everybody can benefit from it. Visit AkiaGarnett.com, and we'll see you soon. Take care and think big.